The rain never stops in the Ozarks, a constant drumming rhythm against the soul. Kevin Walter hunches deeper into his rain gear, his camera bag heavy against his back. He's chasing a legend, the elusive Ozark Panther, a phantom of the hills. But the rain has been relentless, washing away any trace of his quarry. Kevin pulls his truck to the side of the road, a gravel track barely clinging to the mountainside. The tires spin for a moment, before finding birches and spitting stones. He consults his map, soaked and crumbling, the ink blurring into illegible streaks. He's miles from anywhere, lost in a maze of forgotten logging trails. Frustration gnaws at him. This trip, a last-ditch effort to salvage his career. The wildlife photography world is unforgiving, and Kevin's been out of the spotlight for too long. The radio sputters to life, a garbled weather report warning of flash floods. He switches it off with a sigh, preferring the solitude of the storm. Ahead, a break in the trees reveals a hidden valley shrouded in mist. Kevin squints, trying to make out details, the rain blurring his vision. And then he sees it, a cluster of decaying buildings clinging to the hillside, an abandoned mining town, lost to time and forgotten by the world. Curiosity piqued, Kevin pulls on his boots, the thick mud sucking at his feet. He grabs his camera bag, a sense of foreboding settling over him. The air is heavy with the scent of damp earth, and something else, something metallic, a faint coppery tang, that makes the back of his throat prickle. As he descends into the valley, the rain seems to intensify. The trees close in around him, their branches like skeletal arms reaching out. The mining town looms closer, its buildings crumbling and overgrown. The windows are dark and empty, staring back with a silent, knowing gaze. A sign creaks in the wind, its faded letters barely visible. Silent Hollow, a name that sends a shiver down Kevin's spine. He enters the town, the silence broken only by the drumming rain. Each step echoes in the empty streets, as if alerting something to his presence. The buildings stand as ghostly reminders of a life that once thrived here. A general store, a saloon, a church, all now decaying and forgotten. A sense of desolation washes over him, a feeling of being utterly alone in a haunted place. Kevin raises his camera, trying to capture the town's eerie beauty. But as he focuses, he notices something strange. A flicker of movement in a window, a shadow that shouldn't be there. He lowers the camera, peering through the gloom, but sees nothing, just the rain and the empty buildings. He raises the camera again, and the movement returns. A brief, fleeting glimpse that chills him to the bone. Kevin hesitates. The wildlife photographer forgotten. He is now something else. An explorer in a ghost town, a trespasser in a forgotten realm. The rain continues to fall as Kevin Walter steps further into Silent Hollow, unaware of the darkness that awaits him. A darkness that sees all and remembers all. Kevin ventures deeper into Silent Hollow. The rain-soaked streets slick and treacherous. Buildings loom on either side, their windows like vacant eyes watching his every move. He passes passes the general store. Its sign hanging askew, barely legible. Henderson's Mercantile. A ghost of commerce in this desolate place. The windows are boarded up, but a sliver of light peeks through a crack. Kevin hesitates, drawn by an unseen force. A whisper of something inside. He tries the door, but it's locked tight. The wood swollen and unyielding. He peers through the crack in the boards, his breath fogging the glass. Inside, the store is a chaotic mess. Shelves overturned, merchandise scattered. Dust covers everything like a shroud. A testament to years of abandonment. And then he sees it. An old camera sitting on a counter, its lens glinting in the sliver of light. A silent invitation to capture the past. Kevin moves on, drawn further into the town. The rain intensifying, blurring the world around him. He passes the saloon. The Golden Nugget, its name a cruel joke. The swinging doors hang open, creaking in the wind like mournful sighs. Kevin steps inside, drawn by an unseen force. A promise of forgotten stories and lost souls. The saloon is a ruin. The bar overturned, glasses shattered. A layer of grime covers every surface. A testament to the passage of time. He imagines the miners who once gathered here, sharing stories, dreams, and regrets. Their laughter now just echoes in the hollow chambers of his mind. A pool table stands warped in the corner, its felt torn and stained. Kevin picks up a cue ball, its weight strangely comforting in his hand. He sends the cue ball careening across the table, the sound echoing eerily through the saloon. It strikes another ball, sending it bouncing off the warped rails. And then silence, broken only by the drumming rain. Kevin places the cue ball back on the table, a sense of unease creeping over him. He moves on, exploring the rest of the town, each building telling a tale of lost hope. The church, its steeple broken and decaying. The schoolhouse, its desks still filled with ghostly students. A graveyard lies on the outskirts of town, its headstones withered and illegible. Kevin wanders among the graves, reading the names of those who rest here. He sees a pattern. Many of the graves are marked with the same date, a tragedy that wiped out much of the town, leaving Silent Hollow to its fate. As he stands among the graves, the rain seems to slow, revealing a break in the clouds. A single ray of sunlight pierces through, illuminating a headstone with a name that chills him to the bone. Kevin Walter. Born in 1902, died in 1937. The same name as his own. A ghost from the past reaching out to claim him. The clouds close in again, the rain resuming its relentless assault. Kevin stumbles back towards the town, his mind reeling from the discovery. He needs to leave, to escape this haunted place before it claims him too. But as he turns to go, he sees something that stops him in his tracks. A figure standing in the doorway of the general store, its form indistinct in the rain and shadows. It beckons him forward, an invitation he can't refuse. Kevin hesitates, torn between fear and curiosity. The pull of the past too strong to resist. He takes a step towards the general store, drawn into the heart of Silent Hollow's darkness. Kevin approaches the general store, the rain blurring his vision. The figure in the doorway remains indistinct, a shadowy sentinel. He pushes open the creaking door, stepping into the darkness of the mercantile. The air inside is thick with dust and decay, the scent of mildew and forgotten memories. His eyes slowly adjust to the dim light, revealing the chaotic mess he glimpsed from outside. Shelves lie overturned, their contents scattered across the floor. Merchandise from a bygone era, forgotten relics of a life that once thrived here. He picks his way through the debris, his footsteps echoing in the oppressive silence. A broken jar of candy, its sugary scent a faint reminder of happier times. An old newspaper lies crumpled on the counter, its headline screaming of the mine disaster, the tragedy that sealed Silent Hollow's fate, leaving it to rot in the rain-soaked mountains. And then he sees it again. The camera sitting on the counter. A vintage box camera, its leather worn and cracked, its lens glinting invitingly. He reaches for it, drawn by an unseen force, his fingers brushing against its cold metal surface. A jolt of energy surges through him, a connection to something old and powerful. He picks up the camera, its weight surprisingly substantial in his hand. He peers through the viewfinder, the world outside distorted and dreamlike. He sees the general store, but something is different. Ghostly figures move among the shelves, shopping for forgotten goods. He blinks and they're gone, just shadows and dust. He raises the camera again, and the figures reappear. He realizes with a chill, this isn't just a camera, it's a window to the past, a portal to a reality long lost, driven by a strange compulsion. He begins to take pictures. The general store, the saloon, the church. Each frame capturing more than just the present. He snaps a photo of the saloon and sees miners gathered at the bar, their laughter echoing in the empty room, their faces gaunt and weary. He snaps a photo of the church and sees a wedding taking place, a young couple exchanging vows, their eyes filled with hope and love. He snaps a photo of the schoolhouse and sees children playing in the yard, their innocent voices filling the air, their faces bright and carefree. With each photo, he becomes more entangled in Silent Hollow's past. He sees their joys, their sorrows, their hopes, and their impending doom. The camera seems to hum with energy, its lens glowing with an eerie light. Kevin feels a growing connection to it, as if it's becoming a part of him. He continues to take pictures, driven by a force he can't explain. He needs to capture it all, to preserve the memory of Silent Hollow. But as he takes more photos, the images become more disturbing. The ghostly figures become more distorted, their faces twisted in pain and fear. He snaps a photo of the graveyard and sees the dead rising from their graves, their skeletal hands reaching out, their empty sockets staring accusingly. Kevin recoils in horror, the camera falling from his grasp. He stumbles backward, away from the darkness he's unleashed. He needs to stop, to break the connection before it consumes him. But as he turns to flee, he sees the figure in the doorway again. Its form is clearer now. A gaunt, spectral figure with eyes that burn with malice. It raises a hand, beckoning him deeper into Silent Hollow's heart. Kevin hesitates, frozen with fear. The camera lying at his feet, a silent invitation. The figure smiles, and Kevin knows, with chilling certainty, he's no longer in control. Kevin stares at the spectral figure, its beckoning hand a silent command. He bends to retrieve the camera, his fingers trembling as he picks it up. He raises the camera to his eye, the figure now crystal clear in the viewfinder. Its eyes burn with malevolent glee, its lips curving into a sinister smile. He snaps a photo, the flash momentarily blinding him. When his vision clears, the figure is gone. He stumbles out of the general store, back into the rain-soaked streets of Silent Hollow. He needs to develop the film, to see what horrors he has captured. He rushes back to his truck, his heart pounding in his chest. He grabs his portable darkroom kit, a relic from his film photography days. He sets up the darkroom in the back of his truck, the red safe light casting an eerie glow. He loads the film onto the reel, his hands shaking with anticipation and dread. He pours the developer into the tank, the chemicals hissing and bubbling. He agitates the tank, waiting for the images to appear. Minutes crawl by, each second stretching into an eternity. He pours out the developer and adds the stop bath. He pours out the stop bath and adds the fixer. He waits again, his mind racing with terrifying possibilities. Finally, he opens the tank and pulls out the film. He holds it up to the safe light, his breath catching in his throat. The images are there, but they're not what he expected. The photos of the general store show ghostly figures moving among the shelves. The photos of the saloon show minors drinking and gambling. The photos of the church show a wedding in full swing. But there's something wrong, something twisted and disturbing. The figures are distorted and grotesque, their faces contorted in pain and anguish. The wedding is a funeral, the bride and groom decaying corpses. The miners are skeletons, their eyes hollow and empty. And then he sees it, in the reflection of a window, a figure standing behind him, its face a mask of pure evil. He checks the other photos. The figure is there in every one, watching him, waiting for him, its presence growing stronger with each frame. He realizes with horror, the camera hasn't just captured the past, it's captured something else. Something dark and malevolent that has been unleashed. He looks at the last photo, the one he took of the figure in the doorway. The figure is no longer spectral. It's solid, real, and standing right behind him. He turns around and comes face to face with his doom. The figure grins, its eyes burning with hellfire. It reaches out, its touch sending a jolt of icy terror through Kevin's body. His scream is cut short as the darkness consumes him. Days later, Kevin's truck is found abandoned on the side of the road leading to Silent Hollow. His darkroom kit is still inside, the developed film scattered across the floor. The photos are disturbing, unsettling, but they offer no clue as to Kevin's whereabouts. He has vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a mystery. Some say he was claimed by the mountains, lost to the wilderness, never to be seen again. Others say he stumbled upon something he shouldn't have, and paid the ultimate price. But those who know the legend of Silent Hollow know the truth. Kevin Walter became another ghost in the town's history, his image forever captured in the camera's twisted lens. And on rainy nights in the Ozarks, if you listen closely, you can still hear the click of a camera and the faint whisper of a lost soul forever trapped in Silent Hollow's embrace.